Welcome back to The Angle, where multidimensional perspectives are revealed. And today, we're diving deep into the stories shaking the world. WADA delays decision, avoids confrontation with Trump ahead of World Cup. The World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, has postponed consideration of a regulation that could lead to President Donald Trump being banned from major sporting events, temporarily avoiding the risk of a confrontation with the United States on the eve of the 2026 World Cup. On March 18th, WADA announced it was delaying a decision regarding a proposal to ban government officials from attending international sporting events if their country does not contribute funding to the anti-doping agency. The move came after a meeting of WADA's executive committee, in which the agency stated it would review the new regulation in September, 2 months after the World Cup concludes. This year's tournament is co-hosted by the United States along with Canada and Mexico. If approved later this year, the regulation could take effect before the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. The United States has not contributed financially to WADA since 2023. If this situation continues, the new rule could place President Donald Trump and U.S. lawmakers on a banned list for Olympics held on home soil. However, questions remain about WADA's ability to enforce such a ban against high-ranking officials. How much higher will the Middle East crisis push oil prices? Developments in the Middle East hotspot are having a clear impact on global energy markets, with oil prices fluctuating sharply and remaining at elevated levels. Oil prices are expected to continue escalating, at least in the short term, as geopolitical risks continue to dominate the market. Global oil markets experienced a volatile day on March 19th, following Iran's series of attacks on energy targets across the Middle East overnight. According to trade sources and Reuters data, the price spread for the Middle Eastern benchmark oils Dubai and Oman hit an all-time record high of approximately $65 per barrel. Meanwhile, intervention measures by the U.S. government aimed at increasing supply quickly curbed the soaring momentum of black gold. At the close of trading on March 19th, Brent crude rose $1.27, 1.18%, to $108.65 per barrel. Earlier in the same session, Brent had spiked to $119.13 per barrel, approaching the 3.5-year high set on March 9th. In contrast, U.S. West Texas Intermediate, WTI, crude closed slightly lower, down 18 cents, 0.19%, to $96.14 per barrel, after briefly surpassing the $100 mark, reaching $100.02 per barrel. In many recent trading sessions, Brent crude exceeding the $100 threshold has become a new normal, a significant increase compared to the beginning of the year. Some Middle Eastern crude grades have recorded even stronger gains due to concerns over a shortage of alternative supply. According to international market data, this price level reflects not only actual supply-demand dynamics, but is also driven by market anxiety over unpredictable geopolitical developments in the region. U.S.-Israel rift emerges amid Iran conflict escalation. U.S. President Donald Trump has revealed that he complained to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu about the bombing of one of Iran's largest offshore gas fields. This highlights clear strategic differences between the U.S. and Israel as they seek to weaken the Iranian government. On March 19th, when asked about the Israeli airstrike that caused significant volatility in oil markets, Trump said, "I told him not to do that," adding that Netanyahu promised not to do it again in the future. "We are independent, but we get along very well," Trump told reporters as he hosted Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi in the Oval Office. He affirmed that the U.S. and Israel are coordinating their approach. Trump described his exchanges with Netanyahu as merely minor disagreements. "Occasionally he will do something, and if I don't like it, then we won't do it anymore," Trump told reporters on March 19th. The Gulf may be losing patience. In public statements regarding the war situation, U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth and General Dan Kane, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, continued to assert that the U.S. is successfully hitting all its targets. Hegseth emphasized that the strikes on Iran's defense industrial facilities aimed to prevent the country from replenishing the missiles, launchers, and drones destroyed during the air campaign. They mentioned dropping bombs weighing over 2,200 kilograms earlier this week on a suspected missile storage site near the Strait of Hormuz, as part of efforts to prevent Iran from disrupting shipping through the narrow waterway. So far, we have struck over 7,000 targets across Iran and its military infrastructure, Hegseth affirmed, while announcing that March 19th would see the largest attack yet, reiterating a commitment to death and destruction from the air. However, Iran's retaliatory speed following the South Pars attack suggests the U.S. has not yet achieved what military strategists call relative advantage, the ability to prevent the adversary from escalating its responses. Hegseth also reiterated that he has set no specific timeline for declaring that the U.S. has achieved its objectives. According to Hegseth's description, the entire war is proceeding according to plan. But ample evidence suggests otherwise. The rushed effort to find allies for escort missions in the Strait of Hormuz, with no countries having yet joined, along with attempts to control energy prices, indicate that the U.S. administration remains surprised by Iran's capacity for retaliation. Iran's asymmetric attacks are designed to drive up prices and pull down U.S. stock markets, key indicators that command President Trump's attention.